Hi, I'm Mario Mancini, former WWE wrestler, and first inductee into the 2014 New England Pro Wrestling Hall of Fame. When I want my wrestling news, I watch the Squared Circle.
Good evening, North Haven, ladies and gentlemen. It is May 6th, 2014. Here we are, 2 days removed from WWE Extreme Rules and a successful title defense for Daniel Bryan and a successful win for Bray Wyatt at Extreme Rules. I'm Hollywood J. Williams.
John Zimmerman.
Right back at you. We have the complete results for Extreme Rules. We have some other news and info to get to, and we got some footage periodically we're going to be showing throughout the hour.
Yes, we have exclusive footage from the recent show from PWA, Arisen, that was at the balcony ballroom in Hamden, and it's just some amazing footage, and you're going to see it here, only here, on the Squared Circle.
A Squared Circle exclusive,
yes.
As we show you exactly what we're talking about when we see PWA, Pro Wrestling Academy, Connecticut, and some of the things they do. It's just one of the many independent organizations you can find in the area.
Right, and I mean, it's what, been 2 weeks since that event, but we did wait until we had professionally shot footage. We didn't use amateur or any other footage. We got the professional shot footage. I negotiated to have it exclusive right here.
Exclusive.
Yes, sir.
Yep, this is high-tech, sophisticated footage.
You might recognize one of the cameramen too.
Right.
As the footage rolls. But
maybe, perhaps. We'll get to that
momentarily.
Too. Momentarily. You just let me know whenever you're ready, and
yep.
we'll go to it.
Right.
But the results for Extreme Rules, we'll start out with that.
Yep.
This is, I don't know how extreme you would call Extreme Rules nowadays. It's hasn't really been too extreme in many years. But the classic matchup, this will go down in history as, I mean, you're talking about Flair, Steamboat, you're talking about Hogan, Ultimate Warrior,
oh, yeah.
Dusty Rhodes versus Ric Flair. The list goes on and on. El Torito and Hornswoggle might be one of the classic rivalries of our decade.
But that did include a friend of the show and former guest, Short Sleeve Samson.
I see.
We interviewed him at the North Haven Fair, and we showed that footage over the summer.
Oh, yes.
And he was very gracious to us and a very nice guy. And when we met, he says, "Yeah, well, he remembered your show from before I came along, and he was great." And we showed that footage a while back when we showed the footage from North Haven Fair. So Short Sleeve Samson from the Squared Circle to the WWE.
To the WWE.
Yes.
And El Torito in exactly 11 minutes and 1 second laid waste to Hornswoggle. It was a tough-fought victory, though.
I'll tell you, though, it was entertaining, which an opening match should, the pre-show, it got us smiling. It was fun. It was definitely a fun match. It was better than I thought it was going to be. El Torito definitely does have some moves, and it was just fun. It served its purpose, and we had a good time. So
exactly, it's some of the fun things they do.
Yeah.
Get you going, get you laughing a little bit before some of the more serious stuff.
Yeah.
These results, I'm not necessarily going in order. I don't have an exact order. But there was also a three-way between Cesaro, the King of Swing, the new Paul Heyman guy,
yep.
Jack Swagger, of course, being led to the ring by Zeb Coulter, and Rob Van Dam. Cesaro defeated both Jack Swagger and Rob Van Dam in this three-way bout. I could see Cesaro going a lot of places, especially under the guidance of Paul Heyman.
Oh yeah, definitely. Was that the trash can? And Rob Van Dam got a little bloodied up from the trash can.
Did he?
Yeah. or was that Raw the next night?
Raw last night, Rob Van Dam got pretty banged up, I gotta say.
With the trash can? No, I'm getting the two confused.
It might have been. I think the trash can was last night.
Okay.
I think that's when Cesaro just completely flipped out and lost the match, got disqualified.
But Cesaro is definitely the up and comer, and they're going to give him the big push, and he definitely deserves it. From all the tweets and all the information that we're getting in, that he's regularly known as the strongest man in the locker room.
You would have to be some of the things. You would have to be strong in order to hold somebody.
Yeah.
And turn them around like that.
Oh,
I don't know how many times he does it every match.
Yeah. So
it's just crazy.
Apparently, he's also well liked, and that goes a long way. They don't want to put the rocket on somebody that doesn't get along with everybody else in the locker room.
Absolutely not.
Because they're going to have to meet him in the ring eventually, and you don't need bad blood or.
No.
So.
You don't need real life things spilling out to the real match inside the ring.
Right.
Exactly.
So I expect good things out of this guy.
Me too. Yeah, especially with Paul Heyman, he takes care of his guys. That's for sure.
Yep, definitely.
Right. Also, Big E. I'm afraid I've got some bad news.
Absolutely. Love this character. Love where he's going with it. Wade Barrett was pretty stale, and pretty much on the verge of getting cut. And now this, Bad News Barrett character, he's cutting better promos, and he's just a huge heel right now. And I think he's playing it very well.
I love it when he's got the gavel in his hand and he's on that podium and they raise it up.
Oh yeah.
Kind of like the town complainer.
Yeah.
Basically.
Yep.
Kind of thing.
Loved it.
I remember Wade Barrett when he formed the Nexus.
The Nexus, yeah.
That was monumentous.
Yeah. Yeah,
that was,
but they broke up the Nexus.
He had a big run back then.
Yep, yeah. Then they broke up the Nexus, and his character kind of got stale, and he was really going nowhere. And now he's got the title.
This is the revitalization of Wade Barrett's career.
Yeah, definitely.
This is also looks like, I don't know, is John Cena gone now for the time being? Did we get our wish finally?
It's hard to say. John Cena is going to be on Main Event tonight, and he's going to respond to Bray Wyatt. I'm just getting this in now, so we'll have to see what he has to say. I've been predicting John Cena going away, and it's going to happen relatively soon.
He's gonna have to go. He's gonna have to go away. He's gonna have to think things through.
Yeah.
Whatever. Yeah. He's gonna have to give the fans a break.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
Yeah. I put out on the Squared Circle Facebook page. I am tired of everybody being and moaning, about John Cena. Give it a rest. If you don't like the guy, switch the station. Don't watch him. Don't buy his merchandise. Whatever it is. All right, it's just the internet wrestling community it's too much. Enough. All right, we get it. You don't like John Cena, but there are people that do, and there's nothing wrong with, some people like one character, some people don't like them. That's why Baskin Robbins has 32 flavors.
He's always going to have his fans.
Detractors, yeah. And it's fun to go boo him and, let's go Cena blank, It's fun. I get it, but enough already. Shoo, just leave it alone. If you don't like the guy, don't pay any attention to him. Ignore him. I don't get the people that just are constant. We hate Cena. Then
it's not going to make a difference because they're either going to get rid of him or they're not.
Right.
He's going to his contract is going to expire and he's not going to renew it, or he's going to renew it.
They're not going to get.
Or he's going to go somewhere else. He's going to do.
He's still in the top as far as merch goes. He's,
right.
We've said it again and again. He's the #1 requested Make-A-Wish superstar. He's not going anywhere. Not going anywhere. So you know what? Deal with it or change the station. Do something. But
he's only going to go somewhere if he decides to, or
without a doubt.
Vince
He's
decides.
not going anywhere.
Right. Right now he might take a break. I mean, it doesn't really, from a financial standpoint, it's not a good idea to turn him heel, even though maybe Could be, but it's just
Not going to happen.
not at the time. Not anytime soon. Maybe years down the road. How old is John Cena anyway? He's like in his late 20s, early 30s?
He's got to be in his 30s, yeah.
30s by now. Maybe by the time he's in his late 30s, early 40s, maybe then it'll be time to turn him heel if he's even around at that point.
Right.
But I do got to say, the match with he had in the cage with Bray Wyatt, he did help put Bray Wyatt over really good. He did everything he could to escape that cage and escape Bray Wyatt and the Wyatt family, but it just couldn't happen.
You know, we are
And
seeing...
it all happened because of a little kid.
Yeah.
A little Johnny, or whatever they're calling him now.
Right.
Would this, whatever they did, they slowed down that he's got the whole.
Right.
They slowed down
Yeah.
the singing of that to make it sound like it was coming out of this kid's mouth, and it really wasn't. Obviously, he's not. The kid isn't possessed by Satan or anything. That's just, you know.
Hey.
Right.
It's fun, and you know, you look at that, and you know, Bray Wyatt's getting over, the Shield's getting over, Cesaro's getting over. You know, we've got a whole new, fresh faces. You know, we got a whole new roster coming in. I really like that Triple H, Paul Levesque, is making a transition to some of the newer faces. You know, I don't want to say younger guys because Cesaro's been around for a while. But at least he's new in
He's
WWE.
new in the WWE.
Right. You know, and
Ring of Honor knows him as Claudio Castiglione.
Right.
So
But
he's kind of a veteran, but
you know, everyone, you know, and we included, complained that, you know, we saw the same guys, the same matches over and over and over, and you know, it's slowly but surely making you shift to a whole bunch of new faces. The three guys in the Shield. You know, as I said, Cesaro, Daniel Bryan, even though he's been in for a while, he's starting to get the push. Wade Barrett is a newer face in comparison. To, you know, some of the guys that are on the roster, and I like to see that. You know, I mean, there's definitely room for John Cena on the show, and there's definitely room for Triple H on the show. But you know, it's good to see some fresh faces, and that way we're going to get new matches and, you know, see things we haven't seen before.
yeah.
Bray Wyatt's
I do have something to say about the kids, though.
Okay.
Well, I mean, last week was cool with all the kids coming out
the choir,
in the choir group.
Yep.
But I have to admit, the way that the steel cage match ended, I'm going to be honest, I thought it was a little kind of hokey.
Yeah.
That you're going to get afraid of a little kid with a, you know, he's not really possessed by any kind of.
Right. Well, it's a story.
Yeah.
Come on, it's fun.
Yeah. When the lights go out, maybe the next time, if they're going to have another match and the lights go out and Bray Wyatt's going to win, maybe it'd be nice to see a new member of the Wyatt family.
Who was it that was in the ring and Papa Shango was doing the voodoo outside the ring, and the guy in the ring is like getting all, you know, all beat up because of the voodoo. You know, I mean, it was a story.
Right.
It's a story.
It's a story.
You know, and as you know, we've said it 100 million times. It's soap opera for men. So
It's soap opera for men.
you know,
They've even hired some of the soap opera writers
Yep.
to come in and
So if, you know, Cena's going to be afraid of the possessed little kid, so be it.
you say let him. I say let's instead of trying to program the children, let's try to program the locker room. Let's add some members.
Yeah.
That's what I say.
Okay.
I'm not saying let's have 30 people in there with sheep masks like the NWO, but let's just add another member or two. That'd be good.
Yeah.
Not like, I'm not saying 30, 20, not
Well,
even
we
50.
are getting some new people. We're going to get this Adam Rose is coming out.
Adam Rose came out last night
Yep.
for the first time.
And Sami Zayn.
Sami Zayn will be coming in.
Right? He's on his way in.
He's on his
So
way in.
you know, a lot of these guys that are in NXT right now are slowly moving up.
The real life brother of Bray Wyatt, as a matter of fact,
Correct.
is coming in soon.
Right. So
if you can believe that.
Oh, Bo Dallas, yeah. And we forgot to mention the Usos are fresh faces.
Usos are fresh faces.
And Paige coming up off the NXT roster.
Paige successfully defeated Tamina Snuka for the belt.
Right. So
retaining the Divas title, so they're gonna keep her around for a little while.
And like I said, the shift to new faces is a positive thing.
Right.
Hopefully, they figure out what to do with their characters and become successful.
Are you glad that the Shield beat Evolution?
Oh, without a doubt. Yeah.
Definitely making the Shield look good.
Yep.
And the Daniel Bryan and Kane match. It looks like Daniel Bryan's got some forklift experience. May have to hire him for my other business here.
You might have to.
All right.
You might have to. I saw the post that you had of the top 10 forklift accidents.
Oh yeah.
I think I saw you in one of those, but maybe
no. That wasn't me. I don't run a forklift. A man of my caliber running a forklift? I've never been on one of those things.
Right.
I wouldn't soil these hands.
Well, if Steve Austin can drive a Zamboni, you can drive a forklift.
As long as I don't, you don't see pallets dropping from the sky. I guess.
There you go.
Right, or if there's a low sign that says no forklifts allowed, you don't drive it
Right.
through it like.
Right.
Well, anyway. Anyway, Daniel Bryan defeated Kane.
Yeah.
Kane. I guess it was a little extreme. He is sort of maybe
extreme for PG is
maybe. I mean, he lit the table on fire.
Woo!
We haven't seen that in a long time. We got to give him credit for that at least.
Yeah, true.
I guess that was the extreme moment of the Extreme Rules pay-per-view.
Right.
And that was about it.
Yep.
So, seen exclusively on the WWE Network. They rolled out something last night. They had a lot of free trial membership offers that they've done for WrestleMania and to get you to order, to get you to watch Extreme Rules, to sign up for the network. But now they're starting out something else, a referral program where I believe it is you can refer up to 10 friends and earn money for gift cards.
Right, at the WWE shop. And not only do you get that incentive, your friend that signs up gets it as well. With the stock going down, it's, they're trying to give some incentive to sign up for the WWE Network, and they're trying to push to get that 1 million subscribers. And I think your number there is 667,000.
Right. They had 495 subscribers as of April 1st, 667,000 subscribers as of April 7th after WrestleMania.
Right. And
they're pushing up.
Right, and
slowly. They just want to go a little faster.
This week they added more content, a whole bunch more episodes and pay-per-views from the entirety of the wrestling history, and they keep adding to it, and they've got the original programming on there. Legends House is a lot of fun, and like you said, the pre-show is on the network. So I see them doing well, and I see more people signing up as word of mouth gets around, and I think that with ATT dropping the pay-per-views, Dish Network dropping the pay-per-views, you're going to drive business to the network, because people want to see it.
It's probably going to do them a favor that all these different outlets aren't going to be carrying pay-per-views anymore.
I think it's going to play right into Vince's hands. But I'm getting some tweets here that people want to see this footage that we're hyping. Hey,
why don't we sprinkle this info in throughout the hour? I really don't have too much of it because other than the Extreme Rules, not too much happens. But let's see some PWA footage.
Yeah.
In the meantime.
Let's go to the videotape. First up, we have friend of the show and former guest, Bull Dread. Not him.
That's not Bull Dread. That is James Barton Rigby. Another British character here, James Barton Rigby III. I understand.
And this is the Balcony Club in Hamden.
balcony banquet facility. It's a nice place. It's perfect to have wrestling in.
Yeah, and the balcony does come into play. I recognize that cameraman on the left-hand side of our screen here. What a handsome fellow.
He is. Hasn't he worked here before?
And the classic ref bump.
Of course. Happens in, I think, every second or third match there is ever. There goes Rigby.
Speaking of cane, there's a cane involved in the match.
Right. That's his
walking stick.
Walking stick.
And there's Sol de Oro.
Sol de Oro.
We're going to have to get a translator and get Sol on the show. I don't speak, no hablo español.
No, me neither. What a kick to the face there by Mr. Rigby. Here's a good move here.
Yeah, you know, he gets the better of Mr. Dread because here comes the tap out.
The tap out.
And there it is.
Sorry to make Mr. Dread look bad there, but...
Well, hey, you know what happens to the best of them?
Happens to the best of
You know, every time you hear like the WWE champion is, 17-time world champion, that means he lost it 16 times.
That's right.
So, they laud themselves on having won it that many times, but that means you've lost it almost as many times as well.
So you hang around the school a little more than I do. I've never actually been there.
Yep.
I have to make it over there one of these days. But what about this Rigby character?
Rigby character is not PWA alumni. He was brought in for this pay-per-view, or excuse me, this live event.
Okay.
And I really don't know much about him other than having seen him that night. But maybe PWA has a cast of characters on their own roster, and then they have guests come in, like they've had AR Fox come in.
Correct.
Quite a few guys have come in and out. Tommy Mack is a regular guest, even though he doesn't train at PWA. Heart Attack Tommy Mack is a regular guest. The House Party, were the tag team champions. They're not on the regular PWA roster.
No.
They were guests as well. So, and you're going to see the House Party in an upcoming clip. But let's see who's next.
Who do we have now? This, my friends, is a B-plus player at best. This is somebody here you will never see hold the PWA title. It just would not be good for business, folks.
And Saru is actually from Japan, and he's been showing up quite regularly at PWA events. And Grappling Greg is on the regular PWA roster.
He's a zoo animal. That's it.
And Grappling Greg is from Bristol, and in December they had the show in Bristol, and they had one in January, I think. They went back to Bristol Boys and Girls Club.
Right.
And he got a great reception because hometown guy, Grappling Greg. And I see him down at the school quite often.
Saru. I mean, where do you see Saru going?
You know what? Saru's got his own Twitter handle. He's got his own Facebook page, and he's got more followers than you.
I don't have a Twitter account. I don't tweet.
I don't know if you can call Saru tweeting. I don't know if you would consider it tweeting.
Now, here would be my dilemma in getting him on here. Does he speak Japanese?
He speaks monkey, I would assume.
He's a monkey.
Yeah.
He's a wrestling monkey.
Well, hey.
Monkey? I get,
Hey, Stu Hart had a wrestling bear, and he did very well with it, And Stu Hart, you can't argue that the dynasty that he created. And on a regular basis, he had a wrestling bear.
He had a bear that wrestled?
Yeah.
He didn't eat any of his opponents afterwards? Or?
No, I think they fed him well before the match.
I would have to assume.
Well, did you ever get the feeling like somebody's watching you?
Me?
Yeah, all these fellas over our shoulders tonight.
Really? oh, these guys, yeah.
Yeah, I see Macho Man, I see Roddy Piper, I see
Piper.
Kennedy, and the Rockers, Dusty Rhodes, Bushwhackers, Legion of Doom,
the Rockers,
Tito Santana. If I move my head, there's Mr. Perfect.
One became a multimillionaire, the other, well, Well, he's Marty Jannetty.
Marty Jannetty.
He's a nice guy, though.
He did a guest spot down at PWA, and his Facebook rants are legendary. Not quite as legendary as the Iron Sheik's Twitter account, but amusing nonetheless. Who else we got on the?
Who else do we have here? Normals versus the House Party. The Normals is a tag team compiled of Buzz Bloodsaw and
Chance DeMoss. And the House Party, former PWA International Tag Team Champions. And there's Buzz Bloodsaw, former guest of the show and friend of the show. And also Vinny V.
Vinny V.
A friend of the show and
definitely.
former guest.
Definitely. I remember his extremely talented wrestling.
Yes.
Quite well.
He keeps teasing that he's going to run another promotion. And hopefully, if he does and when he does, we'll get you all the information on that.
I'm sure he'll let us. I'm sure we'll be some of the first people to know.
Yeah, Vinny V is one of the greatest guys in the business. Always respectable, always just really good to the people around him, and I haven't met a person that doesn't like this guy.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah,
he's phenomenal.
He's a great ref, and always does a great job.
And this must be a hard tag match to call here for him. And what is their manager's name? The Normals manager.
Oh my goodness, I don't recall.
You do not recall.
Killing me now. But
he looks like a Paul Bearer but with white paint on his face.
Yeah, you can say that. But yeah, he pulls some magic out of his hands. He's got the fireball that he's been known to throw into the opponent's eyes, and he's a classic wrestling manager. In he causes distractions and helps his or attempts to help his guys win, and sometimes it backfires, like classic managers always, have been, but it's a great character. The Normals are up and coming, and Chance DeMoss is regularly at the school, and we're looking to have him on the show as well.
Definitely.
But
get some more of these guys on here.
These guys are training and traveling on the road. I believe some of the guys from PWA are going to be in Pennsylvania next weekend, and they just Joseph Von Schmidt just came back from Quebec with Sol de Aro, and they're super busy, which is great, and they're spreading the word of PWA all over, and going up to Canada, hitting Quebec, and
you keep spreading the word around there, and maybe try to get a contract of their own on television.
Speaking of which, right, spreading the word on our Facebook group page, the Squared Circle, I posted Global Force Wrestling is having elect your favorite indie wrestler to get on their roster. So Jeff Jarrett is actively seeking.
I think that's great.
Yes,
My hat's off to him.
Jeff Jarrett is actively seeking independent wrestlers. So go on our page, follow the link, and vote for your favorite independent wrestler. I won't tell you which ones, but get out there. Now, the people that, again, the internet wrestling community always bitch and moan. Excuse me. Sorry about that. Always complain and moan that, oh, this guy, that guy. Here's your chance to have some input of who gets on the roster. All right, so if you don't like the Cena guy character, if you don't like, this guy or that guy, if you have a favorite independent wrestler, get on and vote for him. Share that video or that link and tell all your friends, tell everyone, hey, get Quint on the roster, get Buzz Bloodsaw, get Joseph Von Schmidt.
Anybody.
I know you're not going to vote for Saru, but get Saru the Monkey out there.
Well, no, he'd be good to have.
Hey, Global Force
I'm
Wrestling,
sure Jeff Jarrett's going to want a cruiserweight title.
Yeah, Global Force Wrestling, I think is going to be the next big thing, because Jeff Jarrett will be behind it, and his track record in the first 10 years of TNA was great.
TNA was real good to begin with.
And
unfortunately, it's no longer good at all.
Yeah, and if anybody has an eye for talent, it's Jeff Jarrett, because if you look at the guys that he had in the first 10 years that were not WWE guys that were not WCW guys.
AJ Styles, Christopher Daniels.
AJ Styles just won a major title in Japan.
AJ Styles is now the New Japan Pro Wrestling World Champion.
Yes. Yes. So
AJ Styles has the belt that was once held by Tatsumi Fujinami back in 1991.
There you go.
When he took on Ric Flair in the Egg Dome, and then he
Right.
took a rematch was the original Super Brawl.
Yep.
Matter of fact,
You're right.
that's the same belt that AJ Styles has.
Yeah. Yeah. So I mean, you're looking at I don't want to say it was a Jeff Jarrett creation, but it was a Jeff Jarrett discovery.
Right.
And the track record that Jarrett has with TNA, as much as we poo-poo on TNA now, 10 years ago, when Jeff Jarrett was running the company, he brought in some excellent talent that people hadn't seen before. He created the X division. He created the six-sided ring, six sides of steel.
I hope when he starts his Global Force promotion, he has a six-sided ring.
Yeah, I hope he has something different that we don't see.
Right.
And if you listen to Jim Ross's podcast, the Ross Report, he says TNA should not try to be WWE light. TNA or this Global Force Wrestling should try to be its own entity and show us something that we don't see on WWE programming.
WWE has their own way of doing things, like we said.
Right.
Your argument is that they're gonna, it's all gonna be cookie cutter.
Yes.
It's all gonna be factory made wrestlers.
Right.
They're all gonna have the same kind of style, and they're not gonna have any. It's not like you're going to go to Mexico and train over there, or Japan and train over there.
I was watching a very good documentary today, Bloodstained Memoirs, and they were talking with Roddy Piper, and they asked Piper what he thought of bringing writers into the WWE, because Piper just was given the mic and he let rip. And it was his character and what came off the top of his head. And Piper made a great point that if one person or one group of people are writing it, that's the only perspective you're going to have. And it's going to be stale. It's going to be just one person's view, one person's mindset, one person's creativity, rather than each individual knowing their own strengths and knowing their own personality. And working with a character that they have a stake in. When they're handed a character and they're handed lines that they're not invested in,
it's not going to work.
They're not going to pull it off. Right.
You know what makes the Bray Wyatt character and the Wyatt family so successful is because Wyndham Rotundo, I believe that's his real name.
Yes.
Approached Vince McMahon with an idea. He had just got sent back to NXT Wrestling in Florida.
Yep.
After being on the main roster. And
as Husky Harris.
As Husky Harris.
A gimmick that was handed to him that he wasn't invested in.
That's right. And he was sent back to NXT as Husky Harris, and he really didn't see himself working out too well with the WWE. He probably he just assumed that once his contract was over, he'd be gone. And then he had this vision in his head of this character that is supposed to be like maybe a cult leader of some kind.
Yeah.
Which is basically what Bray Wyatt is. He approached Vince McMahon with the Bray Wyatt character himself, apparently.
Yeah.
And Vince loved it. He's like, that's a great idea. We're still going to have you in NXT, though, but why don't you try it there?
Right.
And let's just see how it goes.
Right, and he shot all the original vignettes that we saw that we had no idea who he was or what was happening. Right, were all shot by him on his own time, on his own dime. Right. And he came up with this himself. So here you have a guy that's highly invested in his character, his own creativity. Right. And it just proves Roddy Piper's point, and it goes to show that given the guy some leeway, he's going to come up with his own character.
Why don't you take all these guys that are supposed to play this character or that character, bring them into the writing meetings?
Yeah. And
let them
at least have a stake in what's going on.
We're going to give you this character. We want you to portray it. First of all, what do you think? if you have any objections to it,
Right.
it doesn't happen.
Right.
But if you think it's good, why don't you give them
Right.
give that person the say? Not that give Daniel Bryan the say in his own character,
Yeah.
which maybe
Yeah.
he maybe it's a bad example there. Give the Miz a say in his own character.
Right. Right. You
Somebody
know,
like that.
Yeah, and back in Piper's day, the Piper character was Piper.
Right.
It came from him, and it sprang from his imagination and his creativity. And if you only have one group of people, their creativity is going to be, it's just in that same box, so to speak. And you're not going to have a guy that's invested in that character.
It's just like in acting.
Yes.
If you can't get behind the person you portray,
Right. Right. Exactly.
it's not really going to work out.
So I think it's great that Bray Wyatt is getting over with the character, and maybe that gives the WWE some idea that, hey, maybe we don't know everything about our guys. Maybe our guys can be a good contribution. But we have another clip.
We have another clip. What do we have now?
Oh, this is Wrecking Ball.
This is the Wrecking Ball versus ECW
We had
original Just Incredible.
Yes. Wrecking Ball Lugerski, we had the pleasure of being his very first TV interview. And he was fantastic when we had him on the show. He's since branched out and really grown as a performer and a character. And like, as you just said, he's fighting former ECW WWE star and former guest of our show, Just Incredible.
Now this was a match I had going up top to the balcony area, but apparently I'm told if I had stayed in my seat,
Yes.
I would have been splattered.
Yeah, here we see the Crimson Mask, which you will not see on WWE programming. And since we don't have an endorsement deal with Mattel, we can show this footage.
You can show now. Look at that. That is not for anybody with a weak stomach.
Now,
That's for sure.
to break kayfabe, for a guy with the caliber, right, of Just Incredible, to put over a guy from PWA, a young guy with only a handful of matches under his belt, like Wrecking Ball Lugerski, shows tremendous amount of respect for PWA, Joseph Von Schmidt, and his whole organization.
That's right. It's saying a lot.
For a guy, Just Incredible doesn't need anybody at this point in his life and his career. And
He
for
doesn't
him
need to bleed.
to
but
come
he's
in,
bleeding.
right, correct. For him to come into this organization and work with basically a rookie. Wrecking Ball's been on maybe a dozen events so far. He's worked hard. This guy, I watched him when he first came into PWA, and I've watched him grow and just get better and better as he goes along. And having had him on our show and just seeing him,
He's got a great future.
Yeah, and he's just a, and he is, outside of the ring, he is the gentle giant. It's so much fun to see the character he is, that he portrays, and then the real person that he is in real life. And
That's a Crimson Mask.
oh
right
yeah,
there.
yeah.
That's
We haven't seen that in quite a long time.
That's what they used to call it in the Austin era, blood from a stone.
Yeah, right.
Right.
Back in the days of Dusty Rhodes and oh God, the guy with the fork. Oh God.
The guy with a fork.
Abdullah the Butcher. Thank you.
Abdullah the Butcher.
I just got it in my
Now
head.
there's somebody that could bleed.
Yeah.
That guy could bleed.
Yeah, in the days of Jesse the Body. Oh God, and even Pat Patterson. With the cowbell, the bull strap match, and getting whacked over the head with the cowbell, and him and Sergeant Slaughter bleeding like a pig. That's the memories.
But nobody
they have.
bleeds like
And
Ric Flair. I
do
gotta
you
say.
remember like the covers of the magazines? They would always have at least one of them would have the crimson mask on the cover of their magazine, because it made for good print, and it made for good television.
Ric Flair could bleed.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
Ric Flair could really bleed too.
Yeah, yeah.
If somebody like Sting or Dusty Rhodes or Lex Luger was like taking his face and putting it over the cage.
Oh, yeah.
Especially in a war game, forget it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, definitely. I'm not saying that blood is everything, but it has its uses and its moments, and given at the right time during a pay-per-view, during a huge event, there's nothing wrong with it.
Right. And speaking of Flair and war games, and I guess I got my wish. Somebody must have heard my comment on YouTube that they should have Clash of the Champions on the network.
Yes. And
somebody, because sure enough, yes, I don't know if it was exactly Clash of the Champions, but yesterday morning around 6 o'clock I had the TV on, and something WCW was on the network. I don't know what. Right. But now I'm hearing that the Clash of the Champions is going to be available on the network. Yeah. Which is great.
It's just amazing the amount of content that is there, and you can't see it all.
Right.
I mean, unless you're going to sit 24/7 and just watch it. But as soon as you think you've seen it all, they add more.
Right.
They add more. So
there's no way, no one possibly has that much time.
Right. Right. It's just incredible, in the pay-per-view.
I wonder if you should even do that anyway, because then you'll get bored with the network, and I don't think Vince would like that very much if you got bored with the network.
Yeah, right. It is. I mean, it's you can easily overdose on it, but it's a lot of fun. A lot of fun. Great stuff.
Right. Great stuff. Other things going on. Kane appeared out a character as Glenn Jacobs, helping elementary school kids down in Knoxville, Tennessee, learn about math.
Yeah.
What a nice guy to do that,
Yep.
He's not the big red monster after all.
No.
You could learn from this guy. this man was actually a Senate candidate in Kentucky.
Right. Yeah.
His home state.
Yep.
Dropped out of the race, obviously.
Yeah.
But WCW alumnus Lex Luger. He's currently on a book tour. His autobiography has came out, Wrestling with the Devil.
Yes.
He spoke at a Chamber of Commerce meeting somewhere, some town in Alabama, about his faith, health complications after wrestling, and the big slam on Yokozuna at the Intrepid and his feud with him match at SummerSlam.
Yeah, I mean, somebody gave that book to my son, and I had a chance to read it, and it's very good. It's one of the better, biographies out there from the wrestling business. Jericho's, I say, are great. Most of what Mick Foley, other than the Countdown to Lockdown. Countdown to Lockdown was terrible, but the rest of Foley's books are great. Bret Hart's book, even though it's like a mountain.
It's a mountain. It might
really
take
good.
you. It might take you a few months just to read the whole thing.
It is very good, but Lex Luger being one of the better autobiographies out there. But we've got the clip of the night. This is the scene that stole the show.
Is this what I think it is? I want everybody to take a look at this, because this man is definitely going to go places in the business after what he did here. I shook his hand afterwards in the parking lot. I thought this was the most amazing move I've seen at an indie show.
Yeah. We're going to cut to Azrael, Joseph Von Schmidt, and the incredible Lucifer Lawrence.
Just look at this. Just look at this here. This man is phenomenal. There's JBS right there.
Yeah, and Azrael, of course.
Azrael. You can't see Lucifer Lawrence.
Not
yet, anyway.
Keep your... Yeah, you're going to have to keep your eye on the balcony.
Keep your eye on that balcony up there. This is a two-storied place, the balcony back gaming facility.
And they
places
definitely...
to sit upstairs.
We've seen Foley take a dive off the top of the steel cage. We've seen Snooker jump off the top rope.
This is something that nobody's ever seen. Now
Yeah.
look at the height of that ladder.
Yep. Now, Joseph von Schmidt is no midget himself. He's
Absolutely not.
6'5", 6'6". I know he towers over me.
Oh yeah, way over me too. Now, Joseph here is trying to attempt to make that ladder a little higher by
To get the
putting
strap.
on
Yeah, the
putting a
strap.
smaller ladder on top of it. Don't know how stable that is. Might be a safety violation there.
We'll have to contact OSHA.
Right. Joseph seems like he's taking a breather there. Azrael has the upper hand,
Yep.
at least for the time being. Get that
Now
ladder
we're going
out
to
of
clear
there.
house.
Get that ladder out of there because it's not doing any good. You know, this match went on for a few minutes without there even being a ladder.
Yes.
Here is the part.
Yeah,
What?
don't blink. Don't miss it.
Look at this, folks.
Joseph is begging him not
This
to do
is
it.
artwork.
Begging him not to do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. Hey, I know those kids up there, too.
Look at this, is just unreal. And there he goes,
Wow.
folks.
Fantastic.
Off the balcony, onto Azrael, onto Joseph von Schmidt. And nobody's moving.
Wow.
Nobody's moving
That-
for a few seconds. How high up would you say that was?
Oh, 20, 25 feet?
At least
Yeah. Yeah.
to
Because
do
you got to
that.
figure the ring is about 4 foot off the floor. Joseph von Schmidt's about 6.5 feet. So there's 10 feet right there,
Really,
and then another 2-3 feet up. So you're looking at 12 to 15
12
at
to
least.
15.
And then the height of the jump adds another 3 or 4 feet to
I
it.
shook his hand after that. I'm like, you're crazy, man.
Now,
Okay.
how on earth are the guys at PWA going to top that last event?
What is Lucifer Lords ever going to do again to top that?
What in the
maneuver?
world can these guys have up their sleeve?
He would have to do that twice in one match. That's what I would think.
Oh, I don't know. They're going to have to come up with something. But, yeah, and we're getting tweets all over the place on how great that was. And we appreciate all the fans coming on our Twitter account and checking us out and following us.
These are the things you see at independent wrestling. Things
Yeah.
that you don't see in the WWE.
Right.
These are the faces you see at independent wrestling that you don't see
Right.
anywhere else.
Right. And again, go on to our Facebook group, find the Global Force Wrestling link, vote for that. Lucifer Lords.
I would say if Mr. Jarrett were to see that,
Yeah.
I think he might be interested.
Yeah, hey, PWA might get the call. I believe at the end of that disc we have some notes. If you go to the main menu and go to the notes, if we can get that up on the screen, that'll give you that'll give us all the contact information for PWA and how to get in contact with them. If you want their next event.
Their next
if you
event
want,
is coming up, I believe, the week after Memorial Day.
Yep.
It was switched. It was the weekend of, but
Right. So we're going to show you some highlights of the upcoming matches next week. We'll have the card. As we get the information, we're going to share it next week, and we'll go over, our predictions for the next event. And again, it's going to be at the is it the balcony?
the Balcony
Club.
Banquet Facility.
Balcony. Okay,
Right.
there it is.
It,
He said it.
the Balcony Banquet Facility,
Thank you.
which had a different name before. It's it's right on Dixwell Avenue, right next to a school bus yard.
Yep.
It used to be called the Point After Club.
Maybe they'll jump off a school bus.
We could do that.
Here it is.
It's New Home Arena in Hamden, Connecticut. More information, www.prowrestlingacademyconnecticut.com. And there's the facebook.com site and twitter.com.
At PWACT1.
Right.
Get on there, find out everything you need to know about the Pro Wrestling Academy. You too can become a wrestler, manager,
Exactly.
referee, whatever.
Commentator.
Yeah, I mean, you want to learn it, that's the place to be.
They're not going to show them how to become public access stars, are they?
No, that's our secret.
That's our secret.
But great things are happening for PWA. They're about to make a move to their own larger facility. They're going to have a performance area. They've got upcoming performances. They have a co-op with the Connecticut Chiefs, which is a
We did see the Connecticut Chiefs football
right,
league
a
there.
football league that's starting up, I believe, next month, mid-June, and you're going to see some football and some wrestling at the same time. I believe they're going to do that at the East Haven High School football field, and that's right around the corner from here. And PWA is going places. They are the last men standing in the Connecticut independent scene, and they are doing a rocking job.
Because Craig Andrews and his RWE is no longer
It's
around.
no longer, right.
There's NEW, which they run out of where CTWE used to be.
Right,
Destiny.
but they're not based in Connecticut. Northeast Wrestling is
Right.
not based in Connecticut. They run shows in Connecticut, but they're not based here.
No.
The only
It's really PWA, pretty much.
Yeah, the only two wrestling companies in Connecticut are PWA and WWE.
Right?
So,
And, we have about, what, 10 minutes, would
About
you
10
say?
minutes
About
left,
10
yeah.
minutes. So
just getting the call.
we're getting a call now?
No, I said I was just getting the call that it's 10 minutes.
Oh, you're
sorry.
getting the call that it's 10 minutes. Okay. That little thing hanging out of your
Yeah,
you ought to get
yeah.
that checked, really. I mean,
Yeah,
it's
I
growing.
got this growth, right?
I know, really.
Man, I hear voices in my head.
We'll
wait,
go
that's
to
Randy Orton.
we'll go to the worst of the week, and then I have some slight Ring of Honor information
Okay.
for you guys. Bronze this week, the stock's plummeting.
Oh,
Why?
not even bronze. We couldn't afford bronze with the way the stock is
We
going
couldn't
down.
even afford the bronze. I should just go lower than that. I want to say the runner-up is going to be, like I said before, with the Wyatts. It was funny last week, but I felt it was kind of corny with that kid. He's got the whole. This
Yeah.
is literally how he sounded. He's got the whole.
Right.
I mean, they
That
could
didn't
have
bother me.
had.
I think it bothered you. Maybe you were disturbed by it. Maybe that's why.
Oh, didn't I was disturbed by it because I was like, really? I mean, he could have had the kid spray in his eyes with something, maybe arrogance like Rick Martel.
Oh yeah, that's been a long time.
But I gotta say, the worst thing right now is something the WWE always tends to do, and that's bring politics or bring current world affairs into their programming.
Okay.
They did it before with remember Muhammad Hassan, the
Yeah.
terrorist character,
Yep.
supposedly. Now you got Lana, who's gorgeous. Don't get me wrong, and her protege there, Alexander Rusev, is
Yeah.
her one of the up and coming stars. But people have their own opinions about what was going on with Russia and
Right.
Ukraine and things like that. But here comes Lana, dedicating everything to Russian President Vladimir Putin. And
Yeah, I don't know where-
everybody, all you Americans are just pawns in his game to take over the world. So now you're putting words in the mouth of a world leader. Who said he wanted to take over the world? I didn't hear anybody say that at all.
I don't know where that's coming from. Obviously, we've always had the political characters, the Iron Sheik,
Right.
and you had Koloff, and then you had, you always had, that
Right.
type of faction.
I think the Cold War is over, but that's
Yeah.
just my political opinion.
Nikolai Volkov coming out and he's singing the Russian anthem, and then of course you had Sergeant Slaughter going over to the Sheik and pledging allegiance to the Ayatollah.
Oh yeah, everybody remembers
right,
that.
Right. So I mean, we've always had that that character that's going to be on the bad guy's side. We have not had the Saddam Hussein, thank goodness, but. Yeah. I don't know where they're going with this, mentioning Putin and and having her align herself with that.
Yeah, and the great patriot Edward Snowden.
Yeah.
I mean, the news comes on, the world news comes on all the major networks at 6:30.
We don't need it at 8 o'clock.
We don't need it at 8 o'clock or afterwards.
Right,
There
right,
are,
right.
if we want to talk, if people want to see world events and things, there's Fox News, there's MSNBC, there's
Right.
CNN, there's
Oh, yeah,
other
there's
news
plenty
outlets.
of outlets.
We don't need to see it in wrestling.
Yeah. Well, like I said, there is history, and they've done it on a number of occasions.
They've done it.
So it's not uncommon for this to happen. But just, I think it was in poor taste, the
Right.
way they did it. But
They got some flack from it. They got mainstream attention from the Washington Free Beacon, which
well,
is
there you go.
I don't know,
You
is
know.
it a regular newspaper, online newspaper, whatever it is.
But there you go. It got a reaction, and if we know Vince, he likes to get a reaction, and if he can get mainstream media to pay attention.
I remember the Muhammad Hassan character, they had to end that because Hassan had these guys in hoods come out and beat up the Undertaker. This is going back 10 years ago.
Yeah.
And at that point in time, there were kidnappings of Americans in Iraq
Right.
by people wearing hoods, and there were actually a couple beheadings,
Yeah.
as a matter of fact. So he had to kind of like
Squash
end it.
that.
He had to squash it real quick.
Yeah.
And I mean, I'm not saying it. You laugh at the character a little bit, but in a way, it's kind of.
Yeah, I think.
You kind of lost me when he started doing the thing with the hood, the guys with the hoods.
Yeah. I think I would agree with you. Let's keep the politics out of it, and create your own characters, create your own bad guys. Don't use the world's bad guys.
Right.
Yeah.
Or alleged bad guys, whatever.
Right.
Exactly.
Right.
Right. So that's worst of the week, Lana or the writers or whoever's responsible.
Right.
Anyway. But Ring of Honor coming to
Yeah,
Toronto, Canada, May 10th.
Real quick.
New York City, May 17th. They have released their pay-per-view events on a pre-order basis. I think since the tickets are sold out, from what I understand,
Yeah.
for New York City, I'm going to have to watch it on pay-per-view.
Yeah.
I haven't seen a Ring of Honor in a long time. I'd like to start covering it a little more here.
Yeah, and if you've seen our Facebook group, we noted that at a recent TNA event, they had less than 400 people show up for their live event, and it was right after their pay-per-view, the night after their pay-per-view. They had less than 400 people show up, and if you saw the crowded balcony, what is it called?
Banquet.
I don't know.
facility. Balcony. I'm going to have to write that down
Yeah, I'm going to
100
have to have
times, and
that
you're going to have
right
to keep
in front of
saying
me.
it.
I don't know why I'm drawing a blank on that. But PWA draws more than 400 people is what I'm trying to get at. So PWA right now is doing a lot better
It's doing better than TNA.
than TNA. What does that
That's it.
tell you?
Says a
Global
lot.
Force Wrestling, wake up, get the guys from PWA, get Joseph Von Schmidt to write some of your program, because what a great mind
I
this
think you
guy's
should
got.
try to get in contact with Jeff somehow and invite him to a card one night.
Yeah.
See what he thinks.
So we got about 60 seconds left.
That's about all I have for this week.
Yeah, well, send in your tweets. We really appreciate it.
Definitely.
Go onto our Facebook and vote for all the guys that you like in independent wrestling. Make your voice heard. And no calls this week, but give us some calls next week.
Definitely.
And,
Hopefully Thunderous will be back.
Yes, yeah, we'll get to the bottom of that.
Definitely.
Those meddling kids.
I'm Hollywood J. Williams. Remember to follow the buzzards, and Brock Lesnar ended the streak. That's coming from Paul Heyman.
There we go.
Good night and good luck.